Are you a nurse currently in the UK? Are you intending to move to the UK as a nurse, as a doctor, as a healthcare practitioner through the healthcare visa route? Whatever the case may be, if you are, then this video will tell you about a policy that might be coming to pass very soon. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere. If you come into the country through the healthcare visa route, through the skilled worker route, you know that on your BRP, your biometric residence permit, it shows behind that you do not have access to public funds. It also shows in your letter that you get that you do not have any recourse to public funds. Now, public funds are like benefits that people who are here in the country that are eligible can have access to. So childcare, you could have a lot of benefits given. Basically, you could even have access to council houses that is cheaper. You don't have to pay the outrageous amount people pay for house rent. So with that in mind, we as international immigrants here in the country do not have access to that. So we pay more money when we're paying our house rent. We also pay for childcare. Childcare is very expensive. So if you don't know that now childcare is very expensive. So you pay all of that. Let me give you an overview. Back then during COVID period, when nurses were moving to the country, international healthcare workers were coming to the country to help with the NHS. What was happening? They were giving the NHS, claps. Every day you're coming back from work, you see people outside of their houses clapping for nurses, clapping for doctors, clapping for healthcare practitioners, saying, well done, thank you for giving us a hand and all of that. But back then, we were also paying the healthcare surcharge. It was an outrageous amount of money. It's not as expensive as it is right now, but we were paying that. And when people do come to the country, they then have to start saving up to pay again in the future when they are renewing their visa. Now, because of all of that, and because you do not have access to support or benefits from the government, most people do not save a lot of money. So whatever it is that you are saving would go into preparation to renewing your passport or renewing your visa. What then happened was they decided to do a petition. RCN went on to say, no, those people that are coming into the country to give us a hand, they should not be paying this outrageous amount of money for healthcare surcharge. So there was a petition being made and the government listened. The government took away the healthcare surcharge and people who come in through the healthcare worker visa route do not have to pay healthcare surcharge. That was a bonus. Further down the line, another illustration, there was another petition that was put out and then people say, no, we don't have to stay 5 years first before getting the indefinite leave to remain. It has to be reduced to 3 years. Petitions went round, people were signing, but what happened? Did the government listen? No. We did not hear anything about that. So this is two different illustrations where policies and reports have been put across and one was listened to by the government, the other wasn't. So now the RCN, let me say what the RCN is, Royal College of Nursing. It is a body for nurses, healthcare support workers, nursing associates to register with. They give you support in cases where you need legal advice. They could give you that as long as you are registered with them. You need to pay a monthly subscription. When you start at first, you don't have to pay the full amount. There is a discount when you just register with them newly. But after a year, you then have to pay the full amount of money. So currently, I'm paying slightly above £16 a month. And that's the amount you pay. There are other organizations, other bodies for people to, register with. But I'm registered with RCN. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Basically, they have come up with a 15-page policy report about this public funds that people who are internationally educated or international migrants in the country do not have access to. A lot of people gave their comments, gave their remarks of how they feel. Because first off, if you are working, someone said 50% of the person's salary goes on to pay house rent. As a band 5 nurse, you are entitled to, most people get paid 1,700 a month, 1,800. If you don't work extra shifts, if you don't work weekends, if you don't do overtime, your money is basic. So if you end up paying house rent, say 700 to 1,000, how much are you left with? £700, or let's say £1,000. And then you then have to pay energy bills. You then have to pay for food, transportation. If you have a child, you have to pay for childcare, because sometimes you do not have the support of someone else here in the country to look after your baby for you. So if you're a single mother or if you're a single parent, you do not have that luxury of someone looking after them for you. And because we're here alone, we do not have our parents here with us. So as compared to locals here in the country where you've got like your parents to help you look after your child, we international migrants do not have our parents here with us, so we do not have that support available. If we then say, okay, fine, let us invite our parents over to come on a visiting visa, to just come hang out with us, look after our kids during that period of time, enjoy their grandchildren's, moments with them. You can only stay in the country for 6 months. You can't stay longer than 6 months, and you have to go back. And the whole application process is overwhelming. You start to show proof of, your statement, and sometimes the visa is not even approved. And that's because when they look at what your parents are doing from over the country and they come to they just do not approve the visa. It is rejected, basically. And so this whole thing is tiring for people, because then you then have to start doing extra shifts to be able to meet up with your bills. On some other occasions, people who are registered with the pension scheme, they end up coming out of the pension, and that's because when they deduct all the things that they need to deduct from your account, you end up going home with less amount of money. You don't have enough money in your account. So people opt out of their pension because they want to be able to save, which in turn is like collecting from the future. You do not save anything for your future, then how would you retire into the luxurious lifestyle that we all are aiming to? I mean, at least that's what I'm aiming for. How would you then retire into something nice? Because at the end of the day, if you do not have anything being paid into your pension, when you retire, you will not have anything in your pension for you to be paid monthly or weekly, whatever the case may be. So a lot of international applicants have been complaining and saying, because they do not have, these little benefits that would contribute to their everyday living, that would improve their, responses to things, they are saying, no, we need to have better support from the government. We're not just coming from our home country into this country just like that. We're coming to help, we're coming to provide our own support, our own quota as well. And with everything going, because of how the payment is not so great and the cost of living, no access to benefits and things like that, a lot of people are leaving the UK. They are going to the US, to Australia, to New Zealand, to Canada. Take US for example now. When people, nurses, healthcare practitioners are moving to the US, they go with permanent residency from day one. Australia as well, you go with permanent residency from day one, depending on the job that you get. So these are opportunities that is it should be the same for people coming into the UK as well. So when this whole thing was ongoing between 2019, 2020 and now, visa fees have been increased. The amount of money you pay for indefinite leave to remain has increased as well. So instead of people to have benefit from the government, they don't. And so all the money that you have saved from years and years and years ago of working, you end up paying it back to the government when you are applying for indefinite leave to remain. I mean, indefinite leave to remain is about 2,800 per person. So if you have a family of 5 or more or less, you have to multiply that by the number of people you have in your family. So a lot of people would end up paying things about £10,000 just for indefinite leave to remain, and that's a lot of money. So they have come to say we need to have all of that changed. So what RCN is proposing in their policy report, we're hopeful. I'm very hopeful that this comes to physical manifestation. It comes to pass. What RCN is saying is, that recourse to public funds, that condition applies to migrant workers on temporary visas, it must come to an end immediately. That's one. Secondly, they have said that the current cost of visa applications and the ILR must be reduced. So if you do not have the headache of saving up money to pay all of those outrageous amount of money, you can use the money, invest it in something else for your future. That's better. That's what I think. So RCN has put out this policy, this report, this proposal. Hopefully we will get good news heading forward. But I want to hear your thoughts. Tell me, what do you think? Is this good news? Is this something that we should have positive hopes on, or is this false hope? What do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Please do leave your thoughts, and thank you so much for coming back to watch the content on the channel. Thank you. And for those just seeing my face for the first time, my name is Mercy. You are absolutely welcome to my channel. On this channel, I talk about migration, I talk about nursing because I'm a nurse. Thank you. And I talk about lifestyle content on those countries that you are interested in migrating to, and I also do vlogs. So if this is something that tickles your fancy, please do subscribe to the channel, like the content on the channel as well. Like this one that you were watching, have you liked it yet? Please do like it. Thank you very much for doing that. And also share it to friends and family members. I mean, you are finding value from this. There are people that you know would find value from it as well. So please do share it across to them. And God bless you for doing that. Have a wonderful day.